Okay, let's get into essay number 57, the London Gin Palace. We've been reading American Miscellany, published in 1865. We just finished essay number 56, Social Influence. And I guess we're turning to the other side of the coin here on page 135 with the London Gin Palace, essay number 57. Okay, the Gin Palace is generally at the corner of two intersecting streets in a gin drinking neighborhood. Naturally, it towers in all the majesty of stucco pilasters in genuine Cockney splendor over the dingy mansions that support it, like a rapacious tyrant over his impoverished subjects. The doors are large, swinging easily upon patent hinges, and ever half and half open and half shut, so that the most undecided touch of the dram drinker admits him. The windows are of plate glass set in brass sashes and are filled with flaming announcements in large letters: the cheapest house in London, cream of the valley, creaming stout, brilliant ales, Old Tom 4d. a quarter, Hodge's best for mixing, and a variety of other entertainments for the men and beasts who make the Gin Palace their home. At night, splendid lights irradiate the surrounding gloom, and an illuminated clock serves to remind the toper of the time he throws away in throwing away his reason. The toper. Within, the splendor is in keeping with the splendor without. Counters fitted with zinc and a long array of brass taps, fittings of the finest Spanish mahogany, beautifully polished bottles containing cordials and other drugs, gilded and labeled, as in the apothecaries' shops. At one side is the bar parlor, an apartment fitted up with congenial taste and usually occupied by the family of the publican. In the distance are vistas and sometimes galleries formed altogether of huge vats of the various sorts of liquor dispensed in the establishment. Behind the counter, which is usually raised to a level with the breasts of the topers, stand men in their shirt sleeves, well-dressed females, or both, dispensers of the short and heavy. The undersized tipplers, raising themselves on tiptoe, deposits the 3 halfpence for the drop of gin, or whatever else they require, and receive their quartern of the poison in return. Ragged women with starveling children, match and ballad vendors fill up the foreground of the picture. Match and ballad vendors fill up the foreground of the picture. There are no seats, nor any accommodation for the customers in the regular gin palace. Every exertion is used to make the palace as uncomfortable to the consumers as possible, so that they shall only step in to drink and pay, step out and return to drink and pay again. No food of any kind is provided at the Gin Palace, save a few biscuits, which are exhibited in a wire cage for protection against the furtive hand. Drink eternal, poisonous drink, is the sole provision of this whited sepulchre. There is not in all London a more melancholy and spirit-depressing sight than the area of one of the larger gin palaces on a wet night. There the homeless, houseless miserables of both sexes, whether they have money or not, resort in numbers for a temporary shelter. Aged women selling ballads and matches, cripples, little beggar boys and girls, slavering idiots, pie-men, sandwich-men, apple and orange women, shell fishmongers, huddled pell-mell in draggle-tailed confusion. Never can human nature, one would imagine, take a more abject posture than is exhibited here. There is a character, an individuality, a family likeness, common to the whole race of sots. The pale, clayey, flaccid, clammy face, pinched in every feature, the weeping, ferret-like, lack-luster eye, the unkempt hair, the slattern shawl, the untidy dress, the slipshod gait, too well betray the confirmed drunkard. Too well betray the confirmed drunkard. The noises, too, of the assembled topers are hideous, appalling even when heard in an atmosphere of gin. Imprecations, execrations, objurgations, applications, that one I know, until at length the patience of the publicans and the last copper of his customers are exhausted, when, rushing from behind his counter, assisted by his shopmen, he expels V.A. Army, the dilatory mob, dragged out by the heels or collars the dead drunkards to nestle as best they may outside the inhospitable door. Here, unobserved, may you contemplate the infinite varieties of men self-metamorphs morphed into beasts. Soaker, tippler, toper, muddler, dram drinker, beer swiller, cordial tippler, sot. Here you may behold the barefoot child, hungry, naked, clay-faced, handing up on tiptoe that infernal bottle which made it and keeps it what it is, and with which, when filled, it creeps home to its brutal father or infamous mother, the messenger of its own misery. Here the steady, respectable sot, the good customer, slides in and flings down his throat the frequent dram, then, with an emphatic ha of gratification, drops his money, nods to his friend the landlord, and for a short interval disappears. Here you may behold with pity and regret, and as much superadded virtuous indignation at the inward contemplation of your own countenance may inspire, the flaunting Cyprian, in overdressed tawdriness, calling in shameless voice for a quartern of pleasant drinking gin, which she liberally shares with 2 or 3 gentlemen who are being educated for the bar of the criminal court. You may contrast her short-lived heyday of prosperous sin with that row of miserables seated by the wall, whose charms are fled and whose voices are husky, while they implore you to treat them with a glass of ale or supplicate for the coppers they see you receive in change from the barman, and who are only permitted that wretched place of rest that they may beg for the benefit of the publican, and for his profit poison themselves with the alms of others.